Coming to you from the M&M Exterior Studio in Knoxville, Virginia, this is Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle, the introvert's extrovert. She talks to people so you don't have to. For now.
Welcome back to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle, the introvert's extrovert. I'm so excited. We have a returning guest, Gretchen Kelsey.
Hey!
Give it up for Gretchen. Our episode 7 guest returns. Thank you, Gretchen, for coming back.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to be back. It was so much fun recording that first episode, and I felt so charged, and already we've been sitting talking, and it's been a wonderful morning so far. A great way to start the day.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. Well, I am excited. We are chatting today. As you guys know, pretty much everyone I talk to, I'm like, we could talk about so many things. But we wanted to narrow down today's talk because Gretchen, through all of our conversations, she kept saying one thing over and over again that stuck in my mind, which was leveling up. And I think you talked on the last podcast, right? About that you're a level upper?
Yes.
Or was that our private conversation?
No, that's what I talked about. I said I'm a level upper. That's that was the problem point in my husband's and I marriage that we talked about, and that is it's good. We've figured it out, and I have become a ninja level upper.
A ninja level upper.
Yes.
I love it. Yes. So I kept saying, I'm like, we need to talk about that level upping because we all kind of I think there's an area of our life that we want to level up in. Yeah. And we were saying before, how do we describe it? And so you had come up with something really brilliant, which was recognizing that your reoccurring obstacles in life are actually growth and opportunities.
Yes. Growth and change opportunities, because it's so basically those things where it's you feel like you're banging your head against the wall and you're like, why can't I just get to where I want to go?
Yes.
What I'm going to talk about is how you can get to where you want to go.
Yes. And I think all your tips too, what's so cool about all of this is it's the concept of going from, we talked A to B, and you're having that roadblock between A and B. And what's so cool is that it could be in any area of life.
Any area.
Because it's universal advice.
Yes, absolutely. It can, and I'm pulling from I sat down, you guys, for a week and a half, 2 weeks, just writing what came to me to pull this out. So I hope that everyone likes it, the listeners. But it all came from stories from my life, and it's definitely transferable because I'm already as I finished writing it, I was like, oh my God, I just leveled up for my move. And I can't wait to share that also.
Awesome. So jump in,
okay,
let's hear it. Let's go.
All right. So we're going to jump in a fun way. I'm going to give you guys my origin story. So how good old level up Gretch came to be.
Level up Gretchen. Love that.
Yes.
Gretch the ninja.
Just came up with it. Gretch the, I need to draw cartoon superheroes.
Yes. See, you've used the term level up. You've used the term origin story. Our listeners who know comics, they're reading between the lines. They know what's going on here. They know what kind of language we speak.
They do. And I'll
draw a
cartoon for both of us for a graphic for this.
Oh, that would be
awesome.
awesome.
And you're going to be a superhero with cape, the introvert's extrovert. Oh my God, this is going to be great. Okay.
This is what happens when two people get together and start brainstorming.
Yes.
So, all right. So what is your origin story?
Okay.
I love that.
Okay. So my origin story is I struggled as a learner. So, okay, let me back it up more. I didn't put two and two together till years later, but I actually had hydrocephalus when I was born, which is water in the head.
Oh.
It's a big deal. If it doesn't drain naturally, it drained naturally for me.
Okay.
But also I was the youngest in my class, and I just remember my entire childhood feeling like everybody's in on a club and I'm not in there. I'm just going to laugh when they laugh. I'm going to nod my head when they nod. I just wasn't connecting the dots. I wasn't with it. And it took, honestly, until the end of middle school, beginning of high school for me to be oh, okay, now I'm in everyone's book. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
And it took a long time.
To kind of catch up to...
Yeah. To just socially and academically.
Okay.
Because, so as I was brainstorming and writing, I was let me think, what's going on with me? And I realized one thing that was really telling is I took a class called academic writing in 7th grade. Mm-hmm. And in that class, we had to write, say, our goal and everyone's goal for the year. And mine was to get above a 70 on every test. And I remember the teacher just looking at me and nodding and being like, good, very good. Okay. And like, cause it's like, yes, you do want to get above a 70.
Yeah.
Like 65 is failing, like a 70.
Yeah.
Like
that's a no-brainer.
Like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a big struggle.
Yeah.
So my parents, I love my parents. They were like hippies and they were just like, you're great. You're doing such a good job. You're going to school. They
didn't want to put the pressure on you to.
There was no pressure.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I like was struggling really.
Oh. Okay.
So I didn't realize that having the grades I had at that time were a big deal. Like I had some good grades in art class and in gym class, and then
the opposite of all my good grades. Like gym class was a struggle.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I just remember one time I did golf in gym class and I could not hit the ball worth the life of me.
Mm-hmm.
And my gym teacher was like, I see you trying every day to hit this ball. So you pass, but that's because you tried.
Oh, and that should be it. That should be
right?
it.
And she's like, just putt it. Just putt it. Like you can't.
Just putt. You're not going to be a driving range.
No, it
person.
was so sad. Like anyway. And then, but let me rewind too, because I was like, so along with that, not realizing that I was behind, upon further reflection, I remembered my 5th grade teacher. And so this is all my origin story of like, it was hard work. School was hard work. And I had my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Maslak. She worked with me one-on-one so much. And I didn't realize that she was taking that time to work with me one-on-one. I walked to school. I could go home late. Like I stayed after school with her. I hung out with her all the time. Aww. So everyone in the class called me a teacher's pet. Oh. And I didn't even care. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, because I love her. Oh. So it was like this whole thing. But I realized that, I even remember like the last day of school, I stayed after with her and like helped her. She was like, it was her retiring year and everything. And I realized how much she sat down with me and she gave me all these extra like learning things and books to take home. And she took this time with me to maybe catch me up. Like she saw the thing about it that really why she's had such a golden spot in my heart that I didn't realize until I was reflecting was that she saw my potential before I did.
Yes.
And she worked so patiently to bring it out. And teacher's pet or not or whatever, she is a teacher that's always been in my heart. And like, I don't know where she is now. Hopefully one day she'll hear it. Oh. But like, if it weren't for her, working with me so diligently, especially in mathematics, which is what I ended up getting my degree in.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I don't know where I would be. And then because it laid a good foundation that just took a while for my brain to be like, okay, all right, we're connecting the dots. We're getting there. And then by 8th grade, we connected the dots.
Do you think that helped with growth mentality? The name is escaping me all of a sudden, but growth mindset. That's what they talk a lot about. They're trying in schools to talk with kids more about growth mindset. And I think around 5th grade is actually, so I think stereotypically or whatever, statistically, whatever, like girls and boys, at a young age, girls excel faster. Yes. And what happens is, and this is all theory, don't quote me on this. I feel like I just heard this somewhere, but it's that, boys have to work harder when they're younger. And girls, it usually comes more naturally. And then when it gets to the point where girls have to work harder, they assume that they're just not good at it because they're not used to working at it. Yeah. And like I said, this might not, I feel like I just kind of heard this, and this is stereotypically, but then, so the point was that boys tend to develop growth mindset better than girls.
Because they had to build that hard foundation.
And so, but girls where that's like, oh, I'm just not good. And that's why with math and science, they said it's definitely not that girls are not as good at math and science. It's just that there comes a point where they have to work harder at it. And they think, oh, I used to be really good at this naturally. Now I'm not. Where guys have always had to work at it.
100%.
So, and that might be true for everyone, but it's the whole, so the takeaway from that for me was that whole growth mindset. So now with Riley, like she comes home a lot and tells me they talk so much about growth mindset. So
that's fantastic because I'm going to add to that I feel like that's 100% true because, I don't know if I've got my notes here, you guys. But my sister, both my sisters were really smart naturally.
Yeah.
And they just got it. And now they were like bored in school. They didn't like school because when it got hard, they didn't know, maybe, I don't know, sisters, I'm sorry. But like maybe they were just like, they didn't understand how to push through and force themselves to push through. Because like, I think I was very nurtured in that weak moment where I was like, it was like an uphill battle that I was blindly walking for so long that I didn't realize.
But what a blessing, because
yeah,
it could have turned very negative, like the self-talk and all that. But by having the positive and just the ability to see, like for me, the similar story is with athletic stuff. Like I was never naturally athletic and it was hard for me to do a lot of stuff. And I remember in my adult years realizing, oh, if I would have worked hard at a sport, maybe I could have been good at it. Yes. I just assumed I sucked at sports. And I mean, I don't really, you know, I want to be healthy, but I'm not too worried about it. But that was my growth mindset aha moment of like, oh, this is just like with academics, vice versa.
You just have to like stick the nose to the grindstone and struggle through it. And actually, I have like I don't know where I talk about it, but I think I'll just talk about it now. The brain is a muscle, and how like it hurts for that muscle, like when you are learning.
Change
when you're
and growth.
learning, and it's like. Especially in school, kids come home so exhausted because they're working out all day in their brain. And it's like, it's so hard to convert things from short-term memory to long-term memory. Anyway, so good. It's like, and I think, you know what? I think in 5th grade, I learned how to work that muscle. And I was like, okay, I know how to work this muscle. Like, I got this. And so that's my origin story. So from the power of Mrs. Maslach and the realization that I was really behind from my academic writing class goals came my superpower, which is basically how to teach myself how to level up. So I figured out how to teach myself how to level up through these struggles. And they weren't, I'm not saying like I had struggles, but it was just that I really had to work extra hard at school to feel caught up. And I just did it. I didn't think about it. I just did it.
I was earlier, you know, I was trying to think, I love that you say level up, and I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. And through this conversation, it's like, oh, it's the growth mindset. Yes. Leveling up is how to get to the growth mindset. So
absolutely.
Like we can teach, so we're trying, I think we as, you know, whatever, a society, the kids' school, my kids' school and their teachers, I think that, you know, there's this awesome new wave of trying to teach growth mindset, but I'm assuming there's not a lot of elementary school kids listening to this, which is, as Christina said, 0 to 7 is kind of a big learning time. Yeah. So it's adults listening to it. So I feel like this is how to have an adult, if you're listening, how to get that growth mindset, how to level up.
Yes. And I will say, parents, and I don't know, that maybe it's just me being lazy, but give your kids some adversity. Don't help them. Like, let them try really hard and fail and cry and then try again. Yeah. Because I think that my daughter, she's like, she doesn't say I yet. She says my. Mm-hmm. And she's like trying to pull up she's potty training. So she's pulling up her pants all by herself. And like when she pulls up her underwear and, you know, she's got this terrible wedgie. She's like so proud of herself. And she's like, I did it. And then it's so cute and then she pulls up her pants and they're totally crooked. Yes. And I'm really wanting to fix it, but I'm like, you know what? She did it. She's proud of it. If it feels awkward, she'll fix it, hopefully. And if she doesn't, then she'll pull him down to pee and pull him back up the right way, hopefully. So,
and it's building that resiliency. If we don't give them a story that was told the other day was our pastor told the story to the kids about when the butterfly is in the cocoon, or is it called a cocoon or chrysalis
whatever
something. Google it. So when they're trying to break out, you know, the story was about this kid saw the butterfly struggling to get out, and he helped rip it open, and then the wings were there and they were wet and they didn't expand, and that it's through the struggle of getting out is when their wings grow and all the fluid. I mean, it's scientific, like the fluid rushes through and that's what expands their wings. And so because it didn't go through that struggle, the wings stayed small and not good and everything. And so you had to let them.
Everything. Yeah. That is everything, because I don't even know. I think it was Marsha who posted the other day, like, flowers don't grow with just sunshine. They need some rain too. Yes. And you know what's funny is through anything in my life, any struggle has been, I have now just gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn something from this. Like my daughter got really sick over the winter. I had really pulled away from her with my pregnancy with my second child, and her illness and being home for 10 days with me, it reconnected our bond.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where I was like, well, this adversity was necessary for me to continue my relationship with my daughter in a healthy way.
Oh, that's such a nice perspective.
Yeah.
The whole like a setback could be a setup for a comeback type of thing too.
That's a quote right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I can't. It is a quote, but I didn't come up with it. But yeah, it's a good setback. It's a setup for a comeback.
Yes. So basically, so adversity is where you're going to level up, and that's where you can really find your own ways to teach yourself how to level up. But I'm going to teach you guys what I learned.
Yes, let's do it. Give us those nuggets.
So, nugget 1, trust yourself. But everyone's talking about trusting your intuition, and I'm not going to talk about trusting your intuition. I'm talking about trusting in what you already can do.
Yes.
What you already can do. So, because everyone has got the imposter syndrome coming in, the self-doubt, everything. Oh my gosh, like I need to be anointed by some higher power to do this. I can't do this myself. Yes, you can. If you can write, you can write a paper. If you can talk, you can give a speech. Like, if you can walk, you can run, you can dance, you can whatever, you can sing, whatever. You can do it. I mean, is it going to be good or great? Who knows? But trust in what you can already do. So that is my big nugget. And the reason why I so am all about this is because I helped a startup company get built up from scratch in a field I knew nothing about. It was myself and the 2 partners. I knew nothing. And I was like, I got hired based on my organization skills, and it was in the field of finance. I didn't know what an IRA was, and whatever, all of those, the acronyms. And as I was helping create all of the material for them before like everything got totally started, I was Googling every 5 seconds. I was making flashcards. I was teaching myself.
That is amazing. And I want to give a little bit of a different perspective. It's on board with what you said, but a little bit of a different angle. So you said, you already have it in you. You don't need like an extra thing. So I would challenge that and say, I think it's because it was already in you and you just didn't see it. So if you believe that like it is a higher power thing, like that is already in you and that the skills you think you need aren't the skills you need. So to help that startup company, you didn't need finance education. You needed, for me, I would say God gave you the skills that you needed to be of service in that area. And so we might not think, like we think we can't do it because you were basing it on, I don't have finance, so it doesn't make sense that I helped. But it's such like, I always think like the quilt analogy. When you look at a beautiful tapestry, quilt, whatever, it looks a beautiful picture on the front. But if you look at the back, there's strings all over the place and it doesn't make sense.
Oh my gosh.
And so you flip it around. And so it's all,
and it's all perfect.
It's on a movie. It's like the power was always inside of you or something like that. So
it's a recurring theme I keep hearing.
And it goes back to Rebecca Bertram's first episode, the very first episode of the podcast. She talked about what if we spend more time leaning into the things we're good at instead of trying to pursue the things we're not good at. And I know that that kind of contradicts a little bit of what we said with growth mindset, but I think if you feel if you feel led to it, like, so you're like, okay, I want to pursue this. You keep doing it, so you keep that mindset, but it's that you trust yourself. Like, this is what I'm good at and I'm going to keep walking into it. So, and he or the universe, whatever your mindset is, it will be used the way it's meant to be used. So just like with your past opportunity, growing that business, like
it was, and it, what's funny is it does come back to I had all the skills already to teach myself.
I just, right when we said growth mind, I was thinking like, oh shoot, now we're contradicting. But as we kept talking, I was like, wait a second, you had developed the skills to say, oh, I don't know this, but I can level up. I can keep, you said you Googled it, like Googled it.
I was,
where I would probably be like,
every 5 seconds, I was like typing up things and I had no idea what I was typing. And then I was like, I'll just type it into Google and read. And it wasn't even that fun, but it was just like, it was just like it was a discovery as I was going. And then I just had I trusted in really my ability to organize because a lot of what I did was the prospect to client onboarding process. I developed that entire process. Wow. We already had guidelines, but then in real life doing it. And I just did what felt natural. And I mean, it was pretty awesome. I went in blind.
Yes.
And I went in, guns blazing, trusting in what I could already do. And that was the fun part.
That is awesome. I loved
Yeah.
I loved our discussion just now, everybody. I hope you did too.
Yes.
That was really, wow. Very cool.
Thank you. All right.
Trust in yourself. Next nugget.
All right. Next nugget. It's not about you. So what? Oh my gosh. No way. Yes. It's not about the work you do. It's really not. It's about how you make other people feel.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Always. Why is the guy who got promoted, who didn't do the presentation, who didn't do all the work, why did he get promoted? Why does everybody love him? It's because of how he or she too, makes other people feel. And okay, so this example is where I would just say this is a middle school example that I have. And this is what made me come to this realization. And it was in my beautiful narcissist phase where, when you're a kid, everything is about you. What are you talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Everything's about you. Okay, so I was at a birthday party, and it was in middle school. I think it was, again, probably 7th grade. The 7th grade was my transformative year.
That's awesome.
I think, or 6th.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, so my friend, it was a co-ed birthday party. I was at her farm because, we were playing in hay bales and stuff and so we were sitting in her living room or whatever. Everyone was giving their gifts, and her boyfriend was there. And then as everyone gave their gift, they were leaving. And me, I was just like, well, I want my gift to be the last gift because I know my gift is the best gift. So she's sitting there. I'm on her right side. Her boyfriend's on the left side. And then her best friend leaves. And she's like, aren't you coming, Gretchen? I'm like, no, I'll wait. I'm going to give my gift. And then her and her boyfriend are just staring at me and I'm just grinning. And I'm like, oh, and then I forgot if I ended up giving my gift last, but it was a while of just such awkwardness until I realized, oh, they're having a moment.
They want me to leave.
They want me to leave. I was like, oh crap. So it was it took a while to realize I made them, the gift, first of all, she probably didn't enjoy it then because of the way I made her feel, just everything. Yeah. And just that whole situation, it was a real, upon reflection, aha moment of it's not about you. You got to be aware, and think about that. I was so great. I just want to say to all of my friends in middle school, you were so patient with me.
Oh,
they were, they were all with it. And they were just oh, Gretchen,
they didn't feel
funny.
No, they didn't feel like they were with it. Maybe, I guarantee all middle
maybe
schoolers
I put them
are
on a higher pedestal.
You did. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You did.
Yes.
Because they all felt crazy and.
Oh, yeah. The hormones. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Weird time. It's a weird time.
Thank God we did not have technology
back
gosh, then.
Yes.
If I recorded my youth.
Oh, all of us. Yes.
Whew.
That's why it's very scary with parenting now.
Mm-hmm.
With that, not about you. I always think Mary Kay Ash said, imagine that everyone has a sign on their forehead that says, make me feel important or make me feel special. And that's the driving force with so much of it is that everyone just wants to feel special and important. And
yes,
when I talk to a lot of people, if they share with me their insecurities, I'm like, heck yeah, me too. And it's almost the quickest way to hide your insecurities is just to love on other people. Because then they don't think about, all the things that I'm struggling with because it's you're loving on them. So
you're
I'm
making them feel comfortable.
Yeah. So secret guys, just love on people if you're feeling very insecure and then they'll love you. They're like, thank you for making me feel so special. And it's I was overcoming my,
insecurities as you were nurturing them. And and also a big thing too, a big trick is just ask people questions about themselves. If you don't want to talk about yourself, just ask and they'll just keep going. I mean, and that's fun too. It's fun to be the listener if you enjoy being a listener. Sometimes I'll just Samantha, you, how you just ask all the best questions and all the right questions, and we keep going.
Thank you.
It's but it is. It's a nice nurturing feeling of you scoop them in with your arm, and you're just you're good. I'm gonna make you feel like Christmas morning in front of a fire or whatever, sunrise, just like that, oh, I can finally relax now. I'm okay.
Yes.
Really? And it's oh, wow, yeah, okay. And it's because it's how you make other people feel.
Yes.
Other people feel, not other people.
So true. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's, well, if we're together, then it Yeah.
Well,
Isn't that funny? We're
yeah.
like, wait, it's not about you?
Yeah.
Who's it about? No.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
We're
It's
caught in
about
a
the
time.
podcast.
We're caught in a time loop. Another comic reference.
Yes. And or like another movie reference like Inception. No, just kidding.
All right. What is our third? Not ours. Yours. What is
Oh.
your third nugget?
Oh, wait. Oh, actually,
Oh.
and I just realized I have index cards here, you guys.
Perfect.
I had one good sentence I really wanted to
Get
say
it, girl.
to end it. Okay. Once you realize that your social and emotional impact is just as important, if not more, than your work, you will be more recognized more quickly.
Say that one more time, okay?
Okay.
Because that's really good.
Once you realize that your social and emotional impact is just as important, if not more, than your work, you will be more
Yes.
recognized more quickly.
So how you make people feel is just as important as the work you provide.
Yes. And the whatever value you bring, it's completely in line with how you make people feel.
And that goes back to the quote, and I don't know if Mary Kay said this or someone else, but it was that people won't always remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Always. Oh my God.
Yes.
That's a good one. Yes.
So
absolutely.
that's so good. That's a great quote. I'm going to have to
Yeah. Take it.
keep
Take
that out, girl.
Yes.
All right. So our third nugget.
Self-growth. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. You can only go as far as you are willing to go or grow. Pun intended. Okay. Okay. So anyway, my biggest, hardest, always problem is checking my ego at the door for self-growth. Okay. Because the ego is the thing that needs to feel self-importance. It's the thing in you that needs self-importance from external factors.
Yes.
And if you take away that need to derive self-importance from external factors, then you can be detached and you can look at yourself in either a critical lens or a non-critical lens and truly grow.
So would you say that that's like having a firm foundation of who you are as a person, like maybe feeling regardless of outside factors, you are who you are?
Almost. I
Okay.
think that the growth builds that foundation. I think it's more of, honestly, the best way I can put it is caring less. Because if you care less, then you detach the importance of a situation on how it makes you feel.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of kind of like,
That's a little bit of mindfulness maybe, where it's that, okay,
yeah.
this is with mindfulness. When I took this class, it was kind of like separating your feelings what's happening, like
Yeah.
that what's happening. It's not happening like to you, you know, this is something that's just happening.
Yes.
And I don't have to make this because I think naturally as humans with our brains, we want to create a story so things make sense. So if something's happening, we're like, well, this is happening because blah, 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 where it's like, no, this
Yeah.
might just be happening. And
It's true. If you were
Yeah.
to like take a lens and like in which we can today with our phones by recording videos, and you can just take an exterior look at things instead of thinking of what's all going on the inside, and you just take that step back. Yeah, it is a mindfulness thing.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
I
You
like
got
that.
got some good labels here too. We're doing good.
Woohoo. So how would you say to go about the self-growth? What are some ways that you check your ego at the door?
So usually, this is what I'm going to say. We get pushed to grow when we want to grow, but we don't know how to grow. The universe or God or whatever says, oh, you want to grow? All right, I'm going to push you.
It's almost like when we say you pray for patience, like I need more patience. God doesn't give you more patience. He gives you opportunity. You know, people say you get opportunities to build your patience.
Yes, like to practice
So if
it.
you're like, I want to grow, you know, I want to level up. I want to, you know, I'm having trouble from A to B. It's like all these things that are happening are giving you the tools to work so that you can get to B.
Yes, and I think we even talked about this last time. It's like all about building those tools.
Yeah.
And I think even in Jacqueline's episode, building that tool belt to like really get yourself where you need to go. And for me, so what happened was in my old job, I was pushed to grow. And I was so hurt and so mad by it. I guess my ego was.
Yeah.
Because of the circumstances. And it was just like, it just felt like it was unfair. And so I was very upset. But then I went home and I simmered and I steamed And I was like, this is an opportunity to grow.
Mm.
Why would I throw away any opportunity to grow? This is my opportunity to level up, to grow, to obviously, I'm always a believer of like, whatever, you guys, you get it. Universe, God, whatever. There's something going on here. Why is this presented to me?
Yeah.
I have to look at it. I have to take myself out of it in some way and look at it as opportunity.
Yes.
And so I did.
Awesome.
And so I had basically had, the long story short is I had to check my ego at the door, grow, and now I'm glad I did. And I've taken some good tools from that opportunity, even if the initial feelings of the start of the why were really hard for me and really not a fun time for me.
And you're right, Jacqueline did. It was okay. Like, yeah, you felt the feelings, you simmered, you steamed, because it was hard and whatnot. But then it's choosing to change your lens of, okay, this happened. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
What's next?
What's next?
So use it as that opportunity.
And
so how many things in your life are things that you can, because we can't control them. So how can we just shift our focus?
And it takes a lot of brain, mind power, you guys. It's not like,
yeah.
Whew. I mean, it took I think a bottle of wine and anger and,
oh yeah.
Like it really was like, it takes a minute and you got to nurture that minute that it takes to get yourself ready to separate. Because
it's the grieving process, though.
Yes.
I think you have to give yourself that space to grieve the loss of whatever it was,
Yes.
So even if it's
letting go of like a piece of yourself or something that you are needing to let go of to get to your next level up stage, like so you got to shed your old armor and get your new armor on or whatever, it's cool.
Awesome. All right. So what's I keep saying what's your last nugget?
Okay. So actually this isn't my last nugget. That was all of it, but so basically you guys, here's where we're at. We can trust in our own capabilities. We know it's not about us and it's about how we make others feel, and we're growing. And so now we're like, now what? Why am I not leveling up? I'm doing all these things, right? Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. Now, what you've done is in your brain or in life, you had these closed, beautiful French doors, and you've just opened them. And those doors are opening, and what's coming through those doors is opportunity. Yes. So you've opened the doors to allow opportunity to come into your life.
Yes. You've created the environment in your life, in your mind, wherever.
Exactly.
So that could be open.
So it could be received. Yes. And so basically, I'm going to quickly give the quick example of moving.
Yeah.
Because you guys, I wanted to move a year ago, and not because I don't love Virginia and I don't love my friends, but I was in a very miserable place in my life a year ago. I was just very miserable. And so I was like, you know what? Flight or flight. I'm a run the heck out. Let's go. I'm not, and I mean, I have so many dreams for some reason about like mountain lions attacking me and my children. Not really, not like I was driving home in my car the other night in my dream, and I came off the road and a mountain lion was circling the car.
Oh,
my instinct always is freeze and run.
Oh, interesting.
I know, but it's not good. I got to figure out how to fight, right? I think that's the lesson there.
Maybe, but I don't know if you heard my story on the last podcast that because we recorded this and it wasn't ever supposed to air, I didn't realize I told the story about that. I thought that I often think that I'm capable of.
Yes.
I can't even run. I honestly can't even run to my mailbox without being out of breath. So the fact, I don't know where this confidence comes from where I'm like, I could take on a mountain lion.
You could. Well,
I would.
If you believe it and you can see it, like you know what though? What you said really impacted me. What you see happening through in your mind is what you're going to do when it happens. And I was like, well, shoot, this is what I see happening.
So then you got to start changing that when you're driving along and you're just having mindless thoughts. You're like, all right, mountain lion, I am going to wrestle you. Yeah. And I am going to just, I don't know. But the right instinct, but as I said in my story, the right instinct is probably to stay in the car and drive away. Like, no, do not get out of the car and fight the mountain lion. So,
or just stay parked and be like, what do I do next?
Yeah, no. I think what you're doing is working. So I think you just keep on keeping on.
Thank you. But so back to that. Like, I wanted to run. I wanted to move. I wanted to move right then. I was looking at houses. I was impatient, and the houses I was looking at were in North Carolina. And guess where I'm going, you guys? North Carolina. So I was impatient. So then I had a voice in my head, or whatever you guys, our inner voice, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, the minute that you start to like, basically I had a quote on my wall, bloom where you're planted.
I love that one because I moved around my whole life. So like, I love bloom where you're planted.
It's like, it really hits home, right?
Mm-hmm.
The minute I start, like this is the voice that you start to really settle in and feel comfortable and bloom and grow. That's when it's time to go. And then my husband gets an email about an opportunity. He sends it to me and kind of half jokingly like, hey. And I was like, serious. I was like, we need to talk about this. And then he threw his hat in the ring and it worked out.
But in between you wanting to move and in between that email, you basically got your stuff together of, you know what? I need to be happy here. I need to be happy with my current house, my current opportunities, my this, right? You poured into that.
Everything. I had to pour into that. I mean,
You did the self-growth.
My second daughter. Yeah. I changed jobs.
Sorry.
So I had my second daughter. I changed jobs. I started my own business.
Mm-hmm.
I did a couple of coaching things. I went to a conference. Like, basically, I lost my mind a couple times.
Yeah.
I went to dark places a couple times.
Kept finding it again.
I kept digging out.
Yeah.
Yes. And here's a funny thing, you guys. Anytime I was trying to do something in my business, the day that I was doing it, it felt like everything was an uphill battle. Everything was going wrong. Everything to make me late was it self-sabotage? Maybe. Was it fear of what I was actually able to do could turn into something?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. But I pushed through.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was so proud of myself. I was like, I did it. I did something. Anyway, so yeah, you have to make that. So exactly. It was a very transformative, very transformative year. And literally it was like a year to the day of like, because I just remembered when everything was that my husband got that email and it was just very interesting.
I love that because, we often talk about, you try to change, like you move, but you're still the same person.
Yes.
And so, oftentimes it's not the outside circumstances, it's us. And
yes,
I feel like with moving around my whole life, that was kind of, people have said, where was your favorite place to live? And and I always said like every place was good, and
yeah,
because you just made the best of the opportunity. And actually the quote that I saw in a military person's house was bloom where you're planted. And then it said, and transplanted and transplanted and transplanted.
I love that.
And so, it's like you can make the best of, there are some times where there's outside circumstances that are, horrible and things like that. But for the most part, it's like, make it the best now. And then like you said, then when the opportunity opens, like now you're not running away to North Carolina.
Right.
That is, you guys can walk confidently.
Receiving it.
Yeah. That is the right opportunity.
It does feel like the right opportunity. Trust me, you guys, I'm like crying and laughing and crying and laughing and I'm all over the place really. And then I'm really sentimental about it all, but like never once has it not felt right. So, so basically recognize when a new opportunity is presenting itself to you. You really have to recognize when it's being presented. And sometimes it's hard to take it, to see it, and to go with it.
Speaking of opportunities, that reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with Marcia Sheehan, who's starting her Hideaways, the new curated staycations. And they're looking to have different locations, but right now it's kicking off in Occoquan, Virginia. And so basically, just to loop listeners in, what that is that Marcia and her business partner will be planning staycations, as I said, right now in Occoquan, Virginia. And they have all different packages. So if you want to just rest, rejuvenate, if you want to explore, if the creative types need time to get away, work on a project, it's basically like having a travel agent, a concierge, and an accountability partner. And the reason I say accountability partner is because it's like a subscription where you pay a little bit each month and you earn time for the staycation. And then they're also emailing you to be like, hey, this is how much time, you've earned for your staycation. So for people, especially that I feel like work hard, they also deserve to play hard, but sometimes it's hard to actually make yourself do this. So this does a couple different things because it takes the guesswork out. They do all the work for you. And then number two, it's there waiting for you. So it decreases the amount of excuses you could use to not go. And so for our listeners, there's actually a special promo code, FIO podcast. If you put that into their promo codes, then you get a $25 discount. So go check out her hideaways and let us know what you think.
And I got some more stories maybe that we want to talk about.
Oh, good.
Later.
Well, this is our little pit stop, so we'll keep the mics hot. I always love saying that for some reason.
I love
in
this.
the after show. But thank you, Gretchen. Thank you so much for coming back and chatting.
Yes.
And
Thank you for having me. This was like, so good. I hope you enjoyed having me too.
Well, I think, like I said, I think that the leveling up growth mindset is something that everyone needs to hear in any area of life. And so I know that, it's just always good to be reminded of that. So
it is. It very much so is. And it's not easy in the moment, even if you are aware.
Exactly. And knowing that it's not easy is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you, Gretchen. And remind everyone, where can they find you?
Oh, yes. Okay. So again, you guys, I'm still getting there. But thehomebusinesswhisperer.com, spell it all out, thehomebusinesswhisperer.com.
Awesome.
Check me out.
Yay. Thanks, Gretchen.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for now.
Thanks for listening to Flushing It Out with Samantha Spittle. Music provided by twinmusicom.org. Song titled Night at the Dance Hall. Sound editing by me, Jeremy Spittle. A special thanks to our studio sponsor, M&M Exteriors. Visit their website at mmexteriors.com for all of your roofing, siding, and gutter needs in the Northern Virginia area. Visit our website at flushingitout.com and be sure to subscribe. This has been a Spitfire production.
That was the greatest thing I've ever heard.